Welcome back to View from Brussels. Today, we're joined by former commander of the Estonian Defense Forces and current member of the European Parliament, General Riho Terras. General, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I want to speak a little bit about the upcoming NATO Summit, which is taking place in Ankara. While much of the debate is centering on the EU or member states hitting 5% of the GDP defense spending target, there's an immediate crisis about Europe's industrial capacity to sustain Europe's security. What concrete outcomes do you hope, or that Europe is hoping, will emerge from Ankara as Europe moves closer to this goal?
Well, the first and the foremost, everybody hopes that Trump is not walking out of the room.
That's a good one.
And the second is that he will try to push us on the right direction with the spending, but not overdo it, not that there is a conflict in there. Because whatever we can say, the US is important ally for European security and will stay that way. And of course, Europe needs to do more. And the problem with the European Union is that we are not United States of Europe,
Of course.
which means that we have 27 different governments. Our people have different views on things, and of course, always from the east to west, the views are really different towards the threat perception and threat situation. But I guess slowly we are going to the right direction. But there are still countries who are not spending even 2% of the GDP on defense, as it was agreed in the Wales Summit many years ago. I was myself there as Obama announced it. So not Trump, but Obama. And still there are some countries who are not fulfilling this task. From point of view of Estonia, we have had 2% of the GDP allocated for defense already since 2009, and now we are 5.4. So
indeed, and Estonia is above the bar at the moment.
yeah, the aim, the objective is 3.5 for defense and 1.5 for other security related kind of issues for the civil protection, etc. But even that is not reached, and in many countries. And for us, it's important that the peak countries whose GDP is big, really take example from Germany.
Exactly.
Because
I was going to ask,
Germany
which
is
examples would you?
yeah,
really
Germany
point to?
is really, they really understood, and not easy for the governments. Of course, not easy for the governments to increase the defense spending. It was not easy for Estonian government to increase the defense spending, but it's because the Estonian mothers and children and old people need care also, the same way as these in Spain. But somehow Spain is hiding behind the fact that the society is not ready. It depends on politicians. So back to what I expect from Ankara is that we show unity, because the unity of NATO is actually the center of gravity, and that was what disturbs Putin's Russia, that these countries together are strong, and if we show the unity, then it is the first step towards the right thing. And the second step is, of course, to spend more and spend more efficiently our defense money on increasing or coming back to the defense capabilities which we had during the Cold War.
And I want to touch back on that a bit later. But before I do that, I want to speak about other partners, strategic partners outside of the United States, namely Turkey and the UK. With regards to the UK, what role do you see it having in Europe's defense future, particularly as the EU builds to have a strict bi-European mandate into initiatives like the SAFE program with regards to defense?
Yeah, we have to understand that UK is part of Europe. It's not part of European Union on their own will, unfortunately, but they are part of Europe, and they are part of European defense. So in defense issues, we need to cooperate as much as possible with UK. But we should understand, of course, also that if we pay, we want to get our money back. And UK must understand it also. So we have to find the sensible balance between our production and what comes out of outside of European Union. So I don't understand the French position where they really are fixed on only European in the moment where many of the things are not available in Europe. So how could you improve your defense capabilities if these things which we need, for example, strategic bombers, are not built in Europe? So it takes 20 years to get there to be independent from all others. Okay, I understand French because that has been France's policy throughout the years. But the rest, all of European defense industry, even the German one, has is a lot intertwined with American or other industries. So today we need to buy what is available from the like-minded nations, be it South Korea, US, UK, or Japan.
With regards to Turkey, because the summit is taking place in Ankara, which
And
could
of
be
course
seen,
Turkey also.
yes, which could be seen as a symbolic. I do want to just quickly touch upon that because they anchor NATO's southern and eastern flank. And as Europe is shaping its future defense, how can Brussels and Ankara strike a balance about their common defense and security?
We are part of the NATO and Turkey, even though politically sometimes not exactly on the same track, has been a very reliable NATO partner. So based on that relationship, we must go on and work together. And of course, also the Turkish defense industry has become really competitive nowadays. And in Estonia, for example, many times turns to Turkey because they are more efficient, better price, and quick delivery. And that is what is all about today in the times of war. So we really need to keep all our allies together. And of course, if necessary, enlarge it outside of the NATO with the like-minded nations like Australia, Japan, for example, or South Korea.
I want to jump back to European procurement because in your legislative work on the Competitiveness Fund, you successfully secured the strict European first mandates requiring defense prototypes to serve European clients first. Yet we know a lot of the portion of European defense spending still flows directly to the United States. Should Europe strictly prioritize its own defense industry, even if it means accepting delayed timelines, as you were mentioning?
No, we don't have privilege to delay. So we need to work around this. We need to work with our partners, UK, US, etc., and we need to concentrate ourselves more on our own capabilities. But we should not exclude any of it. I don't think in nowadays we have the privilege to exclude something where we can get better. Just to remind to everybody that the defense is still in Europe, in European Union, only member states issue. Yes. So what if we can do something together? It's an agreement basis between these nations, and I think it is possible to look at what capabilities Europe needs to replace the US capabilities, which mainly is on the side of strategic enablers, like the air-to-air refueling, bombers, all the ISTAR, all the intelligence surveillance equipment, space. These are the things which none of European countries can do alone. And perhaps it would make sense that we would have kind of a coalition of willing, if you want, PESCO type, where those who want to participate will participate.
Yes.
Put your efforts together and build some capabilities together, which will replace the USP capabilities. But it takes time. You have to have an overlapping time between where we come from and where we are going. And that needs to be coordinated with US. And that is the thing which I hope European heads of state and government will make Trump understand. You can withdraw, but we need time to replace it. You cannot let empty holes in the whole security structure.
Now turning back to the European Commission's SAFE initiative, which you've been very vocal about. Could you elaborate a bit more about your position?
Yeah, well, SAFE, all the current instruments are, on my opinion, good, but there should not be too many restrictions, and we should not invent new wheels if we have the old ones working. So
Yeah.
European Defence Fund, SAFE, all this which we have already in place need to be used. We just need to add more money. If you think about the situation, we were fighting an influenza. Yeah? Some people called it COVID. We were fighting it with almost 800 billion euros. Yeah, we were able to put together 800 billion euros. And today we look at the European multinational and financial framework plans, which they plan to allocate for a whole defense and development area, 130 billion over 7 years. These are not comparable.
Yes.
We are in war. We are right now, and even some people think we are not. Russia has clearly defined it as a war against the West. So from Russian side, we are at war, and we need to start to understand that. And we are strong. We are second biggest economy in the world together.
Yes.
Only European countries. If we add UK to it, then we are even stronger. So, which means that we can to do something for our defense. It's about whether we will or want.
So on this then, do you agree that the EU should have, that there should be access to a common funding scheme? Because from what I know, that you have rejected joint debt pools.
European defense bonds will be one way of doing things.
Okay.
I don't object to it at all. Estonia has its own defense bonds, and I think that is the one way to do it. And they are big frugal states who don't want to do it because they have to pay it. But from Estonian point of view, I think this is one way. The other way, and I've heard Commissioner Kubilius talking about it, that we could kind of agree that certain percentage of our national defense spendings, say 3-5% of the national defense spendings, will be put together in one pool in European Union in order to fill the gap of 500 billion euros roughly in the next 7 years to fill the gaps of the strategic enablers which the US is removing. So I think that is another way to do that.
With regards to your military background, how do you see the current threat scale right now that Europe is experiencing? And is Europe really awake to the sense of threat at its borders?
It still takes time. I mean, some people told that Georgia was the wake-up call. So that was the call which was completely buzzed. You know, the wake-up calls can be buzzed. Yeah. Then Ukraine 2014, some people thought that is a wake-up call. We didn't wake anybody up. I mean, we kept our business. We're talking about more, but we kept our business as usual. Even, and that's my understanding, even the 24th of February 22, a large-scale Russian attack against Ukraine, did not wake people up. I think the first and real wake-up call was Trump telling that he will withdraw.
True.
And now everybody started to move. You cannot wake a coma patient with a wake-up call. You need to invest, and that investment is bitterly needed today. Europe is better. We are investing more, but we have a 30 years gap where we just completely neglected defense spendings. Completely. I mean, the numbers of the military which has been in 90s and which is today, they are not comparable at all. And we should not go back where we were. We should be more modern. We should learn from current war as much as we can. We should work together with Ukraine to get ourselves up and running for the modern conflict, for the modern war.
You bring me to my last question because you're saying that Europe is 30 years behind. I want to look 10 years ahead. What should Europe's role within NATO look like, as well as its defense industry in the upcoming decade?
Well, again, I do not support people who talk about European army, because this is, on my opinion, just useless discussion until there is no willingness to open the Lisbon Treaty and there is no willingness to go to the federal state of Europe, which I don't think the nations will. So we have to concentrate on things which are feasible and which we can do. And what we can do is we can have European capabilities built, nations together build European capabilities which will help us to fill the gap if the US is leaving. We need to focus on keeping US still involved in Europe, and US understands. I'm not sure whether the President Trump understands it, but most of the people I talk to in Congress, and also my old friends from the military, many of them are now sacked, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That that we keep the US involved in Europe, and that is needed also for United States. It's not only United States. If United States want to operate all over the world, Europe as a base here in the center of it is absolutely crucial for US also. But I understand that it is out of balance many years, and not only because Europeans didn't want to, but because US was willing not to give up certain capabilities and priorities. But it was completely out of balance. 50% of NATO's budget came from US, and that is not fair. So let's go back to the fair share based on how big the country is, what is the budget is, etc. And then work out a solution which will work for world security in the most successful security and defense alliance in the history of mankind. This is NATO.
Well, thank you so much, General, for your very thoughtful insights today. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning in.